Hello everybody, welcome to a new episode of Unity 2D Tutorials. In this episode we're going to learn how to create the moving platforms and the ability to jump on them, and let's wait for it to come here actually. Here we go. So if I jump, I become part of it and I can move left and right, also up and down. And this tutorial episode was suggested by Andrea Marquez. So let's see how it works. Alright, here we go. So the first thing we need to do is we need to clear out the place in here. So I don't care about the upper layer, but here, let's remove this frog. Just disable him. And we start by explaining how the platform is gonna, be constructed. So the platform is, I'm gonna use 2D sprites. I'm not gonna use a tile map, which is basically what we've been using lately, because tile map is technically static stuff. Like it's floors, unmoved floors, walls, props, so all these things. Whereas the current platformer is gonna, the moving platform, let me just show you. The platform is gonna include a moving element. So I need the ability to move it up, left, down, right. So we're gonna use simple 2D sprites. All right. So the first thing we need to do is we need to have what I'm gonna put as the global moving platform. Moving platforms. And this one is just basically an empty game object, which is going to include all the moving platforms in the scene. Say you're going to have multiple ones, so you can add a lot of stuff. The second thing we need to do is we need to add the graphics of the moving platform. So let's call it platform, all right? And let's use the platform long graphics. So that's it. That's the platform, right? Uh, we need to add the box collider, which is going to be visible here, as you can see. We're going to use it to indicate the player. The second thing we need to do is we need to make sure that it's set as part of the ground, because this is the layer that we detect if we're touching the ground. So that's it. And the second thing, or third thing, if I forgot, we need to add some sort of a tag. All right, so the tag, let's call it moving platform. This one will help us indicate that we're on the ground, like a normal ground or a moving ground. So this one will be moving platform. So we've set up the graphics here. We need to set up something else, which is a script. And before I set up the script, I'm gonna have to restructure the platform game object hierarchy. So first of all, I'm gonna need to create an empty game object called platform root. I'm gonna explain in a second why I'm doing this. And we're gonna put the platform graphics inside the root. And we need to make sure that it's zeroed out. If you just click reset, everything's fine. So here we go. We've got the platform here. Let's put it here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a platform that goes from here up until here, another one that goes from, let's say, here until here. That's good. So what I did this is we're going to need to create something called point goals, or points, just call it points. So it's called point 1, it's called P1, and let's just give it a gizmo so it looks nice. Here we go. And let's call the second one point 2, and this one, let's put it up here. What this does is it's technically just a visual indications where the platform should go. So the platform first goes to the point 1, and as soon as it finishes point 1, it's gonna go to point 2. The reason I did this is because if we put these stuff inside the platform, whenever we move the platform, the points will go with it because they're child of the point of the platform. So I made sure that both of them are included in the same child, so the movement of the platform doesn't change the position of the point indications. That's good. And the second thing we need to do is we need to create the script. Let's go. Let's call it moving platform. All right. Let's wait for it to open. And it's taken too long. This mechanic, you can use it also for even enemies, but just apply more stuff to it. You'll see when we finish. All right.
2,000 years later.
Okay, we're in. So let's clear all these things out. The first thing we need to do is we need to create a list which will indicate or which will contain the transforms. Let's call them points. And the second thing we need to do is we need to put some sort of an indicator to which point are we going towards. Let's call it goal point. By default, it's going to be 0. And the last thing would be public float. Let's call it speed. Let's call it move speed. For now, let's just keep it as 2. It's going to change later. All right, so the logic is going to be, let's make it an update. It's going to happen in each frame. Let's make a method called move to next point. I'm going to explain the points that we're going to do here. What we're going to do first is change the position of the platform, move towards the goal point. Then check if we are in very close proximity of the next point. If so, change goal point to the next one. That's as simple as this. So move to next point. How we're going to do this is by changing the transform position of the platform. And since we're putting the script in the same game object of the platform, or actually it depends however you want it. So you can put it in here, which I prefer. Oh, actually I'll put it here. Put it here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create another game object, public transform. Let's call it platform. So this one will technically just link to the platform. So what we're going to do here first is we're going to call platform dot position equals. There's a method in vector2 which we can use. It's called move towards. What is this? And it has 3 elements. It has the current vector, the goal vector, or the target vector, and the maximum distance delta. Let's go one by one. So the current one is technically where we are right now, which is going to be the position of the platform. The next would be the next point. So next point, we're using an array of transforms, and we've got the goal ID of the point. So we're going to use the points and access the goal point. By default, it's going to access the first one. And we're going to go further. That position and this one. So this one says maximum distance delta. What this does, it's technically it says in the documentaries of the Unity, it says how close should be, or the proximity position towards the point. But to avoid all the confusions, we're going to use 1, right? By default, so I'm going to use 1. And we're going to have to multiply it by time, that delta time dot move speed. So technically, we can remove the 1 because it's negligible. But a good note there, you can use that. If you put this value as negative, it's going to go away from the point. So let's keep that in mind. So we have the speed as 2. This will make it move. This will move the platform to the next point. Then we have to check. We have to check with using something called vector.distance. So this calculates the distance between 2 transforms. So we have to check between our current position and the goal position where we're going to, which is going to be this thing. So we can make sure that we have reached that place. So the distance gives Victor. So let's see if the distance it gets smaller the closer we get to it. So we have to make sure that it gets close enough, but not too close enough, or not too far enough. So let's go with 0.1, which is quite close. Here we go. So what this does is it moves the platform to the next point. But then when we reach the next point, when we reach that point, it's gonna just stand there. We're not gonna do this. We're gonna have to make it look towards the next point, which is basically 0, 1, and then 2, 3, etc. But for this episode, I'm gonna use only 2 points. So it's gonna be more of like a ping pong, going back and forth. And we have to make sure of one thing. Say that we have point 0, and then point 1, point 3, point 4. So we have 4 points, right? Total of 4. If we keep increasing the value from 0 to 1, that's fine. Then to 2, it's fine. Then to 3, it's fine. And then if we increase it to 4, it's going to throw an error exception of, out of range, which is correct because we're accessing an element that doesn't exist. So to avoid this, we have to do some sort of a check. Check if we reached the last element, reset to first point. Actually, let's call it point, not element. This is quite easy. So we need to check if this value has reached the end point of points. If so, make it 0. Otherwise, just increase it. Don't get confused. This is a simple mathematical equation. So goal point equals points that count. You might think this is the correct way, but it's not, because in programming, we always start from 0, right? So if this one has 4 elements, actually, you know what? Let's make it simple. So if we have 2 points here, so the total is 2, but we have indicators of 0 and 1. So if we check the count, it's going to give us um, technically the count number of elements, but not directly the indicators, and which is going to be a big mistake here. So we have to add -1, because whenever you have a count of 2, the final point is not ID'd as 2, it's ID'd as 1, as you see here. The same thing goes for, let's say, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements, right? But the last one is not 5, it's 4. That's just something to keep in mind. So if it reaches this point, we need to make it 0. Otherwise, actually, I like to make it quite simplistic in the syntax. And otherwise, just increase it. That's all the stuff. Honestly, this is everything that we need for this script. So we move towards the next point. As soon as we get close to that point, like really close, we go to the next point. We switch the pointer to the next point. So if we reach at the end of the array, we reset to the first. Otherwise, we keep increasing. That sounds exactly what we need. So let's apply the script here. Moving platform, here we go. First of all, let's assign the platform. Second of all, we need to assign point 1 and point 2. Let's keep the speed as it is. So let's see how this works. So if nothing is wrong, this should go from here and then go up all the way here, and then go back down here. You can see the speed is minimal. If you make it 1, it becomes slower. Point 1 is way too slow. So I think speed 1 is, or speed 2 is good enough. So as you can see, it goes as a ping pong matter. 5 is way too much. Anyway, this is all up to you. You can choose whatever you want. So this is the first part of this thing. The second thing is we need to do is we need to interact with the player. And what I mean by this is platforms they go back and forth, right? But there's something you have to see right now. So let's see this part here. Let's make another platform. Let's put it here, like this, left. And then I'm going to change the ending point to be going left, okay? Let's make this as 1. That's fine. Let me show you what I mean. So let's run up. Am I gonna die from this bird? Oh no. See what's happening here? He's some sort of is not really attached to the platform. If I stop here, it's not moving with it. That's because it's not parenting it, which is a wrong thing here. So we're gonna apply the parenting of the platform. It's quite simple. We just add stuff to the existing script. So we have to check, are we standing on the platform? If so, make the fox child of the platform. Otherwise, unlatch it. It's quite simple. Let's enter the fox script. Here we go. And we've already integrated the ground check, if I'm not mistaken. Here we go. So we check here if we're colliding with stuff that's grounded. We do enable the ground in here, and then otherwise we disable it. Or actually, it's disabled by default, which is fine here. So what we do here is we're gonna need to check if any of the colliders is moving platform, parent it to this transform. And here, unlatch, or actually unparent the transform. Here we go. So the easiest way to do in here is we don't know the number of the colliders, so we just can for each variable c in colliders. Here we go. So the first thing we need to do is if c the tag equals moving platform. Why? Because we have set up this tag here, moving platform. Sorry, here we go, moving platform. So the graphics has to have, by the way, not the root, the graphics, because the graphics is the one that has the collider. Okay, so if it has moving platform, we just need to go and make it transform that parent. This is our parent, and we have to set it to see the transform. We have to make that platform our parent, so we become part of it. And then afterwards here, what you do unlatch or unparent everything, we just go transform that parent parent equals null, which is exactly what we need. Believe it or not, this is everything that you need to do. So let's go back. Right, let it load. Here we go. So I want you to check something here right now. So this is the platform that's going up and down, and this is the fox. So as soon as I step on the platform, by the way, this is the ground check, the lower part. As soon as I step on the platform, the fox is going to become part of the platform object. Here we go. Yep, I want to make it full screen better. You can see on the left side here how the changes are happening. For some reason, my machine is slow. Okay, let's wait for it to come down. Jump. Oh, yeah, my device. Let's stop it. See, it's right here, and whenever it's part of it, you can see it's latching properly towards it. And the same thing will happen in here. By the way, if you hear these sounds, you can remove them because I just put them as a indicator. Here we go. So you can jump from place to another. As soon as I jump off of it, I lose the parenting. That's it. See how cool is this? Alright, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It was quite fun. And if you got any questions, hit the comments below. Also join our Discord channel to get into more discussions with me and other developers. And hit the subscribe and like button. Other than this, I'll see you everybody in the next video. Bye bye.